And this post asking, what will you do if you have to fix the ordinary interest? First of all, does it need fixing? Of course it needs fixing. What should be done? Now the government is talking about spending $50 billion to bail out the ordinary interest. And I told the host, this is a very simple solution. Let's talk about GM, General Motors. The government can buy 60% of the GM stock. That will cost the government about $1.5 billion. Share price is very low now. So let the government buy 60% of the stock and give these shares to the workers of GM. Let them own the company. They will have to figure it out, wouldn't they? How to keep their jobs. They would first of all throw out the management, which has been so inept. They will hire new managers. And these new managers will be responsive to the needs of the workers, not their own pockets. So it's a very simple solution. It will cost $1.5 billion and maybe another $5 billion to take care of their old healthcare costs and pension funds. But now the burden would be on the workers themselves. They will work very hard because their jobs are on the line. And nobody would be laid off. Why? Instead of laying off, because all the workers combined own the company, once you have 60% ownership, you are effectively controlling the company. So all the workers combined own the company, nobody will be laid off. Only working hours will be reduced because there's not enough demand for cars right now. So working hours will be reduced, but nobody will be laid off. Isn't that better? Rather than laying off people, reduce working hours for everybody so the pain is shared. And the cost will be very little compared to what the government is talking about now. So see, that's the whole problem. New ideas will not be practiced, will not be tried until you have new policy makers. If you appoint the old Clintonites to various cabinet posts, you're going to have old ideas. You can't bring about change just because one person has a different idea. Change will come only through new ideas. And so I am very sad to feel that at least the next 2 years will be one of more economic pain. But then of course, this pain cannot go on forever. After all, in 2010, there are elections again. And the Democrats will have to face the laid off workers. Then they will try new ideas. But for the first 2 years, they'll keep trying this more debt creation. Now they're talking about another relief package, another. How much time is left? Maybe I should let you ask questions.
Yeah, about 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes.
Maybe I should put it open for the questions if there are any questions.
Okay, that's one. They got another $700 billion they're thinking about putting out in stimulus, but which again is another debt creation method. Now, the argument is, listen, what you talked about, which is creating wages or increasing wages. If the $700 billion that is proposed, the new, the latest one, if that money was to be directed towards the consumer, directed towards those that I would say needed the most, because we've already given banks infused large sums of $30 billion here, 30, yeah. So if there was a way to take the last part of the $700 billion stimulus and infuse that money where it can reach the consumer, the wage earner, would that then help strengthen the
It
economy.
will be a temporary relief. Because tax relief raises your income temporarily. If there is a rise in wage, then everybody knows, okay, this is the permanent rise in my income, I can go out and spend it as much as I want. If there is temporary tax relief, because it's temporary, you may or may not spend it. And what we need is spending, consumer spending. Secondly, Greenspan and Bush made an assumption that the government can make people borrow more and more money, as much money as possible, and there will be no consequences. That's the assumption. Now the government is making the assumption that we can go ahead and borrow unlimited amount of money and there will be no consequences. That's simply not. They've already spent $1 trillion, and another 700 billion means they have to borrow 1.7 trillion. And I can predict right in front of everybody, in 3 to 6 months, interest rates are going to shoot up because you can't borrow that much money. Those people who are lending money, they have lost trillions themselves in the stock market. They don't have that much money to lend now. And here the government will go and borrow a lot of more money. And people, lenders themselves are poorer. Where is the money going to come from? So interest rates will shoot up. And as interest rates jump, this economy is not in recession, it will go into depression. So there are consequences and bad consequences to unlimited debt payment. Temporary relief, okay, if there was not much debt already, then this proposal will be good. Already there is so much debt, interest rates will jump, and so that's why we have to give up the policy of debt relief.
Next stand up. Thank you for your brilliant presentation. That is very, very touching. From what I've gathered from your speaking also, you predicted the situation we are going through some few years back. And at this particular moment, America is a leading country in the whole world. We've dominated in so many areas. In the domain of economic, we have prominent professors like you. Doctor, if you know the truth, it will set you free. And this struggle you started so many years ago, I don't think you are going to let it go. What are you going to do, doctor, as an American, as an educator, to make sure that this document that had predicted a wonderful solution for our country is going to be implemented into the governmental system so that we can be safe in the next coming year?
The one which predicted all the things is this book. See, that one was an analysis of what Greenspan was doing, and I said it was a fraud, and within 2-3 years it was going to come back and haunt us. Then in this book, which was written at the end of 2006, and look at the title. The title itself predicts everything. It was written at the end of 2006. The New Golden Age, the coming revolution against political corruption and economic chaos. And this book predicted that a political revolution would start in the year 2009 because of an election. And in that, by revolution I meant the rule of money would be overthrown in society. And that's where Obama comes in. He's going to overthrow the rule of money in society, but unfortunately, since he has selected old guards, it's going to take a year or two. But he's a quick learner. Well, it might take a little bit longer this time to learn because he's surrounded by very powerful people. And until they have experienced big failure, they will not give up. But the truth shall come out eventually. And all that